This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Jay Cohn. A Billings man under arrest after he allegedly tried to burn down a house in central Billings.
Investigators say the suspect intentionally set the early morning fire in the 700 block of Terry Avenue and now faces multiple charges. No
injuries were reported, but the fire did cause major damage. Tonight, 43-year-old Edward Halverson in custody at the Yellowstone County Jail. He faces 1 count of arson and 4 counts of criminal endangerment. The fire at 735 Terry Avenue was called in around 1:20 this morning. Billings police say Halverson cut the gas line to the house water heater and then ignited the gas. Flames caused an estimated $150,000 in damage, leaving heavy damage in the basement and smoke damage throughout the rest of the home. Halverson was arrested after he was questioned by a Billings police detective. The property was insured. It's not clear what the motive was or if Halverson lived in the home. The snow's been piling up for most of the day across the region, and Bob McGuire has been adding up those totals.
How much do you think we got here in the Billings area?
I think we got a couple inches in my house,
Bob. Inch and a half?
Airport's reporting 3 inches snow depth right now. So, yeah. And as you see, it is still coming down. Look at this on the Doppler radar. That's all snow, folks. So far, most of it's fairly light snow, and we'll probably see this kind of eventually wind down as the night goes on. But we're expecting snow off and on for the next several days. So let me show you how much snow we other places have gotten. Places like Wilsall, 13 inches of snow. That's about 13 miles northeast of Wilsall. 18 miles southwest of Fishtail, 10 inches of snow. Columbus had 7. Red Lodge had 6 inches. Reed Point had 5 inches of snow. Now, how much more snow are we going to get? We have another storm getting ready to move in later on in the week. And here in the Billings area, we could see another 1.25 inches out of this second storm moving in. Places like Livingston could see 7 inches of snow, maybe up to almost 6.25 over at Kalispell. So we still got a lot of snow to move in this week. We'll have more on that and your local forecast coming up in a few more minutes.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
Well, the man accused in Tuesday's deadly truck attack in New York City is being held tonight without bail. At least 8 people were killed in the incident, 2 of them Americans. Saifulo Saipov appeared in U.S. District Court today, handcuffed in a wheelchair to face charges of federal terrorism crimes. According to the court filings, the 29-year-old chose Halloween as the day to mow down pedestrians and bicyclists, believing there would be more civilians on the street. Authorities say they have evidence establishing his support for ISIS, including a note recovered outside the rental vehicle he used. A high-ranking law enforcement official tells CBS News that authorities are questioning a friend of the suspect who's also from Uzbekistan, but at this point they say there is no evidence linking the friend to Tuesday's attack. Within hours of the terrorist attack in New York, President Trump took to Twitter to announce he has ordered the Department of Homeland Security to step up its already extreme vetting program. And this morning he blamed New York Senator Chuck Schumer for letting the suspect immigrate to America in the first place. Mola Lengi has more details for us tonight from Capitol Hill.
President Trump wants Congress to immediately begin working on terminating the diversity lottery visa program that allowed the suspect in Tuesday's New York City terror attack to immigrate to the U.S.
He came in through the diversity program, as you know, and we're going to stop that.
The president accused Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Democrats of being soft on terror.
Honestly, they don't want to do what's right for our country. We need strength. We need resolve. We have to stop it. So we're going to get rid of this lottery program.
Senator Schumer hit back, blaming President Trump for proposing budget cuts to terror programs and for using the attack to push his agenda.
All President Trump does is take advantage, horrible advantage, of a tragedy and try to politicize and divide.
House members heading into an immigration review hearing say lottery winners go through the same stringent vetting process that every other immigrant goes through.
It's very disappointing that the president would blame the Democratic leader in the Senate instead of the terrorist.
Schumer did play a critical role in drafting the visa lottery program when it was created, but Republican Senator Jeff Flake says it was a bipartisan effort.
That was a bipartisan program. I think it passed the Senate 90-8 or something at that time.
And he said Schumer was part of the Gang of Eight that proposed getting rid of the lottery as part of a broader immigration reform bill, which House Republicans defeated in 2013. Mola Lengi, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The Diversity Visa Lottery Program grants visas for up to 50,000 immigrants each year and was designed to allow in more people from countries with lower levels of immigration to the U.S.
The voter-approved initiative beefing up crime victims' rights ruled null and void today by the Montana Supreme Court.
Montana voters overwhelmingly approved CI 116 last November, but today's ruling says the initiative violates the state constitution. In the 5-2 decision, Montana's High Court found that Marsys law made at least 5 major changes, which violates what's called the separate vote requirement of the Constitution. Essentially, the court found that Marsys law made too many changes to be covered by one constitutional initiative.
Marsys law sought to ensure crime victims and their families that they would have rights equal to those accused and convicted of crimes. Nearly 2/3 of Montana voters supported the measure in the 2016 election.
Today's court decision came in to response to the legal challenge to the initiative filed by the ACLU of Montana, the Montana Association of Counties, and the Association of Criminal Defense Attorneys.
Now, while Marsys law will not become part of the Montana Constitution, state law still offers assistance to crime victims.
Q2's David Jay talked with Yellowstone County Attorney Scott Twido today for his take on today's ruling. David.
Jeanelle, Jay, Scott Twido says the court ruled on procedural reasons and not the merits of Marsys law. He says 14 of 18 parts of the Victims' Rights Act are still in place even without Marsys law and can help crime victims.
We were doing a lot of it already. Again, we just sort of beefed it up. We sort of tried to fine-tune our procedures to try to better serve our residents here, and I think a lot of that we can still go forward with. Most of what is contained in Marsys law was already contained in our Victims' Rights Act and has thus far been found to be constitutional.
And Scott Twido plans to talk with Billings Police Chief Rich St. John, Yellowstone County Sheriff Mike Linder, and others in law enforcement about the best way to help victims of crime. Janelle?
Thanks, David. Michael Spell, one of 2 men convicted and sentenced for kidnapping and murdering Sydney schoolteacher Sherry Arnold, was denied his appeal today. The Montana Supreme Court affirms that Spell was mentally competent when he pleaded guilty in 2012. The court agrees that Spell knew at the time that his actions were wrong and had the ability to stop himself. It was January 7th, 2012, when Sherry Arnold disappeared after she had gone jogging in the morning in Sydney. Now, both Spell and Lester Waters eventually pleaded guilty. With today's ruling, Spell will continue to serve 100 years in prison for deliberate homicide, but still could be eligible for parole in 25 years. The court also ruled that sentencing Spell, a person with some intellectual disabilities, to prison is not a violation of cruel and unusual punishment.
The clock is ticking down to this year's municipal elections that are set for next Tuesday. Now, keep in mind, this is an all mail-in ballot election. And officials say if you haven't already mailed in that ballot, well, your best bet now is to turn it in person to the elections office at the county courthouse. In fact, you have until 8 p.m. on Election Day next Tuesday to turn it in. For Billings and Laurel, this election will help shape the next 4 years. Both cities will elect new mayors and city council members. And in Lockwood, the hot ballot issue is the potential creation of a new school district, which would allow Lockwood to build its own high school. So far, as many as 32,500 ballots have been returned. That's out of the 78,000 plus ballots that were sent out.
Still to come on tonight's 10 o'clock news, firefighting has a new face across the country. Tonight, we'll check out its new look here in Montana.
Also, this family is juggling 6 kids, and 4 of them came all at once. Their story later.
And in sports, opening night of the PBR World Finals, Scott shows us how your 3 Montanans fare.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green.